The Book of Jubilees, also known as the Book of Division. This is the account of the division of days of the law and of the testimony for the annual observance according to their weeks of years and their jubilees throughout all the years of the world, just as the Lord told it to Moses on Mount Sinai, when he went up to receive the tablets of the law and the commandments by the word of the Lord, as he said to him, "Come up to the top of the mountain." In the first year of the exodus of the children of Israel from Egypt, in the 3rd month, on the 16th day of that month, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Come up to me on the mountain, and I shall give you 2 stone tablets of the law and the commandment which I have written, so that you may teach them." And Moses went up to the mountain of the Lord, and the glory of the Lord dwelt upon Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it for 6 days. And he called up to Moses on the 7th day from the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like fire burning on top of the mountain. And Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. And the Lord revealed to him both what was in the beginning and what will occur in the future, on the account of the division of all the days of the law and the testimony. And he said, "Set your mind on everything which I will tell you on this mountain, and write it in a book, so that their descendants might see that I have not abandoned them on account of all the evil which they have done to instigate transgression of the covenant which I am establishing between me and you today on Mount Sinai for their descendants. And thus it will be, when all of these things happen to them, that they will know that I have been more righteous than they in all their judgments and deeds, and they will know that I have truly been with them. And you, write for yourself all of these words which I shall cause you to know today, for I know their rebelliousness and their stubbornness before I caused them to enter the land which I swore to their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give your seed to a land flowing with milk and honey. And they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange gods, to those who cannot save them from any of their affliction. And this testimony will be heard as a testimony against them. For they will forget all of my commandments, everything which I shall command them, and they will walk after the Gentiles, and after the defilement and shame. And they shall serve their gods, and they will become a scandal for them, and an affliction, and a torment, and a snare. And many will be destroyed and seized, and will fall into the hand of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances, and my commandments, and the feasts of my covenant, and my Sabbaths, and my sacred place, which I sanctified for myself among them, and my tabernacle and my sanctuary, which I sanctified for myself in the midst of the land, so that I might set up my name upon it, and dwell in there. And they will make for themselves high places and groves and carved idols, and each of them will worship his own idol so as to go astray. And they will sacrifice their children to the demons and to every work of the error of their heart. And I shall send to them witnesses, so that I might witness to them, but they will not hear. And they will even kill the witnesses, and they will persecute those who search out the law, and they will neglect everything, and begin to do evil in my sight. And I shall hide my face from them, and I shall give them over to the power of the nations to be captive, and for plunder, and to be devoured. And I shall remove them from the midst of the land, and I shall scatter them among the nations. And they will forget all my laws, and all my commandments, and all my judgments. And they will err concerning new moons, Sabbaths, festivals, jubilees, and ordinances. And afterwards they will return to me from the nations with all their heart, and with all their soul, and with all their might. And I shall gather them from the midst of all the nations. And they will seek me, so that I might be found by them. When they seek me with all their heart, and with all their soul, I shall reveal to them an abundance of peace and righteousness. And with all my heart, and with all my soul, I shall transplant them as a righteous plant. And they shall be a blessing, and not a curse. And they will be the head and not the tail. And I shall build my sanctuary in their midst, and I shall dwell with them. And I shall be their God, and they shall be my people, truly and rightly. And I shall not forsake them, and I shall not be alienated from them, because I am the Lord their God. And Moses fell upon his face and prayed, and he said, O Lord my God, do not abandon your people and your inheritance to walk in the error of their heart, and do not deliver them into the hand of their enemy, the Gentiles, lest they rule over them and cause them to sin against you. O Lord, let your mercy be lifted up upon your people, and create for them an upright spirit, and do not let the spirit of Beliar rule over them, to accuse them before you, and to ensnare them from every path of righteousness, so that they might be destroyed from before your face. but they are your people, and your inheritance, whom you saved by your great might from the hand of the Egyptians. Create a pure heart and a holy spirit for them, and do not let them be ensnared by their sin henceforth and forever. And the Lord said to Moses, I know their contrariness and their thoughts and their stubbornness, and they will not obey until they acknowledge their sin and the sins of their fathers. But after this they will return to me in all uprightness, and with all of their heart and soul, and I shall cut off the foreskin of their heart, and the foreskins of their heart of their descendants. And I shall create for them a holy spirit, and I shall purify them so that they will not turn away from following me from that day and forever. And their souls will cleave to me and to all my commandments, and they will do my commandments, and I shall be a father to them, and they will be sons to me. And they will all be called sons of the living God, and every angel and spirit will know and acknowledge that they are my sons, and I am their father, in uprightness and righteousness, and I shall love them. And you write down for yourself all the matters which I shall make known to you on this mountain, what was in the beginning and what will be at the end, what will happen in all the divisions of the days which are in the law and the testimony throughout their weeks of years, according to the Jubilees forever, until I shall descend and dwell with them in all the ages of eternity. And he said to the angel of the presence, Write for Moses from the first creation until my sanctuary is built in their midst forever and ever. And the Lord will appear in the sight of all, and everyone will know that I am the God of Israel, and the Father of all the children of Jacob, and King upon Mount Zion forever and ever. And Zion and Jerusalem will be holy. And the angel of the presence, who went before the camp of Israel, took the tablets of the division of years, from the time of the creation of the law and the testimony, according to their weeks of years, according to the Jubilees year by year, throughout the full number of Jubilees, from the day of creation till the day of the new creation, when the heaven and earth and all their creatures shall be renewed according to the powers of heaven, and according to the whole nature of earth, until the sanctuary of the Lord is created in Jerusalem, upon Mount Zion, and all the lights will be renewed for healing and peace and blessing for all of the elect of Israel, in order that it might be thus from that day and unto all the days of the earth. And the angel of the presence spoke to Moses by the word of the Lord, saying, Write the whole account of creation, that in 6 days the Lord God completed all his work, and all that he created. And he observed a Sabbath the 7th day, and he sanctified it for all ages, and he set it as a sign for all his works. For on the first day he created the heavens, which are above, and the earth and the waters, and all of the spirits which minister before him, the angels of the presence, the angels of sanctification, and the angels of the spirit of fire, and the angels of the spirit of the winds, and the angel of the spirit of the clouds, and darkness, and snow, and hail, and frost, and the angels of resoundings, and thunders, and lightnings, and the angels of the spirits of cold and heat, winter and springtime, and harvest and summer, and all the spirits of his creatures which are in heaven and on earth. And he created the abysses and darkness, both evening and night, and light, both dawn and daylight, which he prepared in the knowledge of his heart. Then we saw his works, and we blessed him, and offered praise before him on account of all his works, because he made 7 great works on the first day. And on the second day he made the firmament in the midst of the water, and the waters were divided on that day. 1/2 of them went up above, and 1/2 of them went down beneath the firmament, which is in the middle of the surface of all the earth. And he made only this one work on the second day. On the third day he did as he said to the waters, Let them pass from the surface of the whole earth into one place, and let the dry land appear. And the waters did as he said, and they turned aside from upon the surface of the earth, into one place outside of this firmament, and dry land appeared. And on that day he created for it all of the seas in which of their gathering places, and of all the rivers, and the gathering places of the waters on the mountains and in the earth, and of all the ponds, and of all the dew of the earth, and the seed which is sown, and everything which is eaten. And the trees will bear fruit, and other trees, and the garden of Eden, in the place of luxury, and everything. These 4 great species the Lord made on the third day. And on the 4th day he made the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and he set them in the firmament of heaven, so that they might give light upon the whole earth, and rule over the day and the night, and separate light and darkness. And the Lord set the sun as a great sign upon the earth for days, Sabbaths, months, feast days, years, Sabbaths of years, Jubilees, and for all of the appointed times of the years. And it separates the light from the darkness, and so that everything which sprouts and grows upon the earth might surely prosper. These three kinds he made on the fourth day. And on the fifth day he created this great sea monsters in the midst of the depths of all the waters. For these were made by his hands, and for all as the first corporeal beings, and all the fish which move in the waters, and all the birds which fly, and all of their kind. And the sun rose above them to make them prosper, and above everything which was on the earth, everything which sprouts from the earth, and every tree which bears fruit, and all flesh. These three kinds he made on the fifth day. And on the sixth day he made all of the beasts of the earth, and all of the cattle, and everything which moves upon the earth. And after all of this he made man, male and female he made them, and he gave him dominion over everything which was upon the earth, and which was in the seas, and over everything which flies, and over beasts and cattle, and everything which moves upon the earth, or above the whole earth. And over all this he gave them dominion. And these four kinds he made on the sixth day, and the total was 22 kinds. And he completed all of his works on the sixth day, everything which is in the heavens, and the earth, and in the seas, and in the depths, and in the light, and in the darkness, and in every place. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, so that we might work 6 days, and observe a Sabbath from all the work on the seventh day. And he told us, all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification, these two great kinds, that we might keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. And he said to us, Behold, I shall separate for myself a people from among all the nations, and they will also keep the Sabbath. And I will sanctify them for myself, and I will bless them, just as I have been sanctified, and shall sanctify the Sabbath day for myself. Thus I shall bless them. And they will be my people, and I will be their God. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob from among all that I have seen, and I have recorded him as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him for myself forever and ever. And I will make known to them the Sabbath days, so that they might observe therein a Sabbath from all work. And thus he created therein a sign by which they might keep the Sabbath with us on the seventh day, to eat and drink, and to bless the one who created all things, just as he blessed and sanctified for himself a people who appeared from all the nations, so that they might keep the Sabbath together with us. And he caused their desires to go up as a pleasing fragrance, which is acceptable before him always. There were 22 chief men from Adam until Jacob, and 22 kinds of works were made before the seventh day. The former is blessed and sanctified, and the latter is also blessed and sanctified. One was like the other with respect to sanctification and blessing, and it was granted to the former that they should always be the blessed and sanctified ones of the testimony, and that the first law, just as he had sanctified and blessed the Sabbath day on the seventh day. He created heaven and earth and everything which he created in 6 days, and the Lord made the seventh day holy for all his works. Therefore he commanded concerning it, Let everyone who will do any work therein die, and also whoever defiles it, let him surely die. And you command the children of Israel, and let them guard this day, so that they might sanctify it, and do not do any work therein, and do not defile it, because it is more holy than any day. And everyone who pollutes it, let him surely die. And anyone who will do any work therein, let him surely die forever, so that the children of Israel might guard this day throughout their generations, and not be uprooted from the land, because it is a holy day and a blessed day. And every man who guards it and keeps therein a Sabbath from all his work will be holy and blessed always like us. Make known and recount to the children of Israel the judgment of the day, that they should keep the Sabbath thereon, and not forsake it in the error of their hearts. And make known that it is not permitted to do work thereon which is unlawful, it being unseemly to do their pleasure thereon. And make known that they should not prepare thereon anything which will be eaten or drunk, which they have not prepared for themselves on the 6th day. And make it known that it is not lawful to draw water, or to bring in or to take out any work within their dwellings, which is carried in their gates. And they shall not bring in or take out from the house to house on that day, because it is more holy, and it is more blessed than any day of the Jubilee of Jubilees.